Hello, it's the early morning hours here of November 5, 2024. It's election day. This is one of the most consequential elections of my lifetime, of our lifetimes. Um, the issue in this election is and has always been, do we turn inward, isolationists, or do we confront our enemies and the enemies of the other nations of the world? Those enemies being China and Russia, both of which are revisionist powers, which means at their throwbacks, which means that they use ethnic and religious differences to stoke conflict and war, while the leadership of those countries gain power and wealth. They cite to ancient grievances, historical claims to justify their aggression, to justify their stoking of conflict and war. These countries are not Christian. They are a super ethnic type of society which is being driven for world power and dominion at the expense of us and all the other peoples of the world. They are not benevolent. They are not good. They do not seek to do what is right. And so the decision for America is, do we turn away from them and let them gobble up a lot of the world? Or do we confront them with our allies and stand up for that which is good and right and true? We stand up for that which is Christian and long held, to defend our brothers and our sisters in this country and in this world. That's our choice. And I am deeply troubled that Trump has ties to one of these enemies. And if you've been reading the paper and just simply watching what's happening, you'll see that there is an enormous amount of evidence that supports the conclusion of Craig Unger in American Compromat that Trump is, in fact, a Russian asset, meaning he's compromised, meaning he is beholden to the Russians. And if that's the case, then he will not pursue right interests, right order, American interests, the interests of the peoples of the world, because he does not have this conception of being his brother's keeper. They call him a transactionalist. What's that? Is that code for immoral or amoral? Yes, it is. If anything, Trump's statements, his positions, support the conclusion of Craig Unger. When Vance and apparently Trump floated the idea of a Ukraine peace plan that makes Ukraine neutral, then they strip Ukraine of sovereignty and give Putin what he wants, which will embolden Putin. When Trump talks about putting tariffs on our allies, he threatens the alliance. He threatens to weaken the alliance. When he shows disregard or a lack of knowledge of international principles, he again supports Craig Unger's conclusion that Trump is a Russian asset. So that's the key issue in this campaign. National security. Do we turn inwards or do we confront the enemy? And as I've said before, the enemy, Russia and China, they are not Christian. Russia invaded Ukraine. The world told them to get out, and Russia didn't. Russia is committing war crimes in Ukraine. They're setting up concentration camps. Russia is not a Christian country. The Russian Orthodox Church is an arm of the Russian government. It has been for a very long time. And I even mentioned that in my book, the Murray book from years ago. China is out there using the system to gain power, and we help China, and they're using it to gain power economically, diplomatically. They're laying claim to the South China Sea when they have no right to. They're repressing their own people. They're denying the right of intervention, which is a Catholic idea. You intervene to save people from tyranny. And the Chinese Communist Party and Vladimir Putin are tyrants, and they are repressing and crushing their own people. They kill the opposition. They pit the people against each other and they kill each other. They starve ethnic minorities. They attack ethnic minorities. They do terrible things to ethnic minorities in those countries. By invading the Ukraine, Russia violated the UN Charter. By threatening nuclear weapons, it violates the Convention on the Use of Nuclear War and Nuclear Weapons. And they are trying to get you, me, everybody in the West to stand down, to turn away. They're trying to divide us, to get us to fight each other, to have doubt in ourselves, to have doubt in our institutions. And one guy who's done a good job in doing that is Donald Trump. He has cast doubt on this country. He has divided this country. And again, everything he's done, everything he's said, as vile and as false as it is, supports Unger's conclusion that he is a Russian asset. He is there to help Russian interests, and Russian interests are to divide us. Because as Ambassador John J. Sullivan said, Russia is at war with the West. They're at war with us. Russia and China are not competitors. They're not just adversaries, though the U.S. code, U.S. laws say they are. They are our enemies. They are conducting information operations against us. They are conducting cyber operations against us, economic warfare against us. They're trying to buy our politicians. It's all through the news. It's story after story. They're trying to destabilize us, divide us, and demoralize us, and many people have fallen for it. And there are many who are working at their behest for pay and for eyeballs and for fame and fortune. And then there are many who are just unwitting idiots that don't understand that what they do is in a context of war, a war we did not start, that Russia started, that Vladimir Putin started years ago, and that China has started. We did not start this war, but they have carried this war to our heartland. And either defend yourself and defend others, or you perish. It's that simple. We are our brother's keeper. We did set up and oversee a good world order that persists, that must be defended against the lies and the attacks of Russia and China, our enemies, who are enemies of God and man and right order. It is my sincerest hope that whoever's elected, and I don't know who's going to get elected, that they take to heart what I have said, that they meet the enemy, that they defeat the enemy, because our future depends on it, and the future of the peoples of the world depend on it. This is a good system, a good international system. It has done many good for a lot of people, provided many good things. Despite what its detractors say, despite what its enemies say, it has done a lot of good. and it continues to do a lot of good, and it is worth defending. I think that's all I've got, except to pray and ask the help of the good Lord. God bless America. We are Americans, and we are our brother's keeper. Thank you.